Hello everyone, and welcome to Deckbuilding Derezzed. I'm your host, Code Marvelous, and today I'm joined by Rob from the UK Meta. Go ahead and say hi.
Hi everyone.
Thanks very much for coming on.
No problem at all. It's a pleasure to be asked.
Rob made a very interesting deck that made Decklist of the Week that I have a special interest in because it plays two of my favorite cards, Near Earth Hub and Psychic Field. You've had a lot of competitive success with this deck, Rob, but before we get into that, talk a little bit about how you got into Netrunner, where you are, like, geographically in the meta, and, how you came to have a lot of competitive success this season.
So I'm over in the UK, up in Edinburgh, meta. I started playing Netrunner about just over a year ago. It was around UK Nationals last year when I went and did some teaching games in the pub. And everyone was practicing their Nationals decks, and I was getting scorched left, right, and centre off of NAPDs and all sorts of stuff. So it was a fairly brutal introduction to the game. But playing for about a year, and this deck's done pretty well for me over the past sort of three tournaments. Gone 16-1, which is a little bit fortunate in some places, but it's done very well for me.
I mean, Near Earth Hub is a fantastic identity. If you want to get technical, it has a base 20 influence if you really want to get technical.
Yeah, everybody's splashing Jackson Howard, so an extra set, and the drawback, of course, of drawing a card every time you get to install a new remote is offsets it nicely.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But yeah, so this deck is a kill deck, which haven't been super popular, but now they're coming back into popularity, I would say, and they're definitely going to become even more popular going into the World's meta with the introduction of Boom. Yeah. Where do you want to start if we're going to talk about this deck?
I think we should probably start with the assets.
Okay.
Yeah, the assets are the thing that makes the whole deck tick, really. So
we got Jay Howe, our Lord and Savior. He's pretty good.
Yep, Jackson Howard just does exactly what Jackson Howard does in every single deck, basically. The only particular thing you're looking for with that is if you're playing against an Anarch, you sometimes need to scorch their iPad Worse out of hand and then get it back. So you just have to be aware of that. But apart from that, it's Jackson Howard.
Yep, we've got 3 pad campaigns. If that's an Near Earth Hub staple.
Yeah, the pad campaigns are really, really important in this deck. It really taxes the runner in their clicks for going and checking remotes and trashing things, and taxes their money as well for hard hitting use. So yeah, the pad campaigns are really, really important.
Yeah. I mean, it's just solid. It's amazing to me that it's such a amazing core set card that isn't good everywhere, but in the decks that it's good, it's just like a workhorse. Yeah.
No, I mean, if you can get a pad campaign down turn 1 or 2. And really start pressuring the runner, then, you're just earning money from it. Yeah, it's great.
Then we have one of my favorite cards in all of Netrunner, Psychic Field.
Yeah, this card is exactly what makes this deck tick.
I was about to say, when I was looking at this list online, I was thinking to myself, this is the deck. Like, this is the cornerstone.
Yeah, the Psychic Field is so important to the deck because it makes... The deck obviously doesn't run a lot of ice, which we'll come to later, but the Psychic Field just puts so much pressure on the runner because there's just a constant threat from checking any remote. Any remote could be a Psychic Field. They could lose their hand. They could lose breakers. It can tax iPad Worses. The Psychic Fields are the big threat in the deck for the most part.
Right. Now, let me ask you a question. So when you're playing this deck, obviously the Psychic Field can lead to a kill, but how often are you getting just score out wins off of the behavior change that happens after they see it?
Quite frequently. The deck, kind of a lot like a lot of NEH decks, the main tactic to begin with is to score out, is to try and go quite fast. This deck doesn't really do it by putting stuff behind ice, although it can do. But the main thing is just scoring agendas naked off the table.
Right. Because they don't want to check it because they don't want to lose 4 cards or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it also triggers in with Prisec. in that sense is that they have to be very careful about which click they're running on as well. If they run last click into a Prisec, then great for the core. But so it really taxes the clicks. If you put down 3 remotes and they go and check one, click one, and it's not the agenda, can they really afford to go and check it click 2? Sometimes, but a lot of the time, not if they need to build their board state and still stay safe. So, yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on them. It's great.
Yeah, it's just a really solid card in an NEH deck. We have 3 Sensei's Actors Union. This is just an amazing NEH card. Just tremendous.
Yeah, I mean, the Senseis are superb in the deck, as they are in every deck. The only downside to Sensei, I suppose, is you can't protect it with ice, and it's cheap to trash. But because there's the constant threat of trap cards sitting there, getting 1 fire of a Sensei is plenty.
Well worth it. Yeah.
Draws you a whole bunch of cards, so even if, frankly, you get 1 use of each Sensei in your deck, you're bottoming agendas, you're drawing into your kill pieces, you're drawing into your tag punishment. It's superb.
We've got a Singleton Shattered Remains, which I find very interesting.
Yeah, so this is the list that's on Netrunner DB is the second iteration of the list. The first iteration just went full out for kill with no real way to deal with Plascrete or anything. And so after it did quite well in the first couple of tournaments. A few folk in the meta were adding back in Plascretes or looking for sports hoppers and things. So it's really there just to put another piece of pressure on as well. You can do some odd kind of breaking news, advanced plays. Is it a Shattered Remains? Is it a breaking news? But for the most part, it's really there just to try and trip a few folk up if they feel like they're very safe with their Singleton Plascrete.
Right. And we got 3 Prisec. And man, is this such a good card from this cycle? It's so good. Yeah. I love this card so much.
Prisec is a fantastic little card, a little baby snare, no influence. I mean, there is, I suppose we should talk about the Prisec Psychic Field combo. If you have the 2 of them in the same remote, if they hit the Psychic Field first and lose their hand, then they die. So long as they don't have Plascrete. Sports Hopper's no use at that point because they can't pop it. But yeah, those 2 cards, I know I put in the write-up that the 2 can go in the same remote, but unbelievably, after all my games with this deck, and I don't know how many I'm near now, must be near 100 with this game, I've never landed a Psychic Field into Prisec kill.
Hey, maybe we'll get one on the stream. You don't know. Maybe. It could happen.
That would be good.
But yeah, I mean, it's just such a taxing. Like the recovery from that, even if it doesn't kill them, is just terrible. Yeah,
it's huge. I have had one really nice play where, or very fortunate play, I suppose, where somebody ran it, accessed the Prisec first as a wizard, and the Prisec sniped their single I've had worse from hand, which the Psychic Field then wiped all the cards they drew.
That's really nice.
That's nice as well. But the big thing with those 2, although you don't land that kill very often, is the threat of that kill can open up a lot of other plays. 2 face-down cards in a single remote. Is it a Psychic Field in a Prisec, or is it an agenda in a Prisec, or a breaking news in a Prisec? And for a lot of times with runners, can they really afford to make that run and take that risk? Because you could just flat out kill them. So, yeah.
So we've got 24/7 news cycle. Jess, I imagine so that if people aren't playing your games, you still have a way to put tags on people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it kind of needs to be there just to give different avenues to win from. As well, sometimes you won't see your Psychic Fields or your Pricecs or the things that you need to see, but you can always score breaking news from hand most of the time. There's not much shape around at the moment. You can easily sneak agendas off the table, so 24/7 is really, really important to the deck, just to give it another avenue for threatening the kill.
Right. And I think that's important because, when I have played these types of near-Earth hub kill decks in the past, one of the big problems that ends up happening is people say, fine, I'm never running anything and I'm just going to wait until I can make some sort of deep dig. Yeah. And then this says, okay, if you do that, I'm just going to kill you in 3 turns.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it puts a huge amount of pressure on the runner as well. Right. Yeah, if you have a breaking news scored and any other agenda, then suddenly you can start forcing them to start running a little bit more recklessly because they feel like they're on the clock. And that can open up a kill that wasn't there in the first place. Right.
So we've got exchange of information, the much maligned but much beloved by yellow players card.
Yeah, exchange very much depends on which side of the game you're playing on as to whether you like it or whether you hate it.
I love it. I like when people hit me with this. Like, I like the exchange play because it feels very corpy to me. It feels very thematic, and you can plan around it.
Yeah, it's evil. Thematically, it's evil. It's good fun as well. In this deck, it kind of serves a slightly different purpose. It's not really there. A lot of the time, it's used for closing games. In this deck, a little bit less so. It's really used to sort of slow down the runner a little bit if they are hitting some agendas early because it's not running a whole lot of ice. But you can break and use into obviously exchange, leaving them with tags, and it can offer up a few. I
feel like that's the part that makes people really salty. I think the exchanging breaking news for global food wouldn't be as bad if it wasn't also like, by the way, here's 2 tags.
Yeah, your first 2 clicks are clear 2 tags and lose 4 credits. Yeah, definitely.
It's some salt. We got hard-hitting news, another really amazing blood money card. Or not blood money, but flashpoint cycle card.
Yeah, I love hard-hitting news. I think hard-hitting news is a great card. Obviously very powerful, but I think really, really nicely designed as well. It revolves around the runs.
It punishes a lack of preparation.
Yeah, it can be played around as well. 2 motions out, so hard-hitting news is now a lot harder to land than it used to be. When it very, very first hit. But in this deck, again, you're taxing the runner on their clicks for going and checking remotes. You're forcing them to trash senseis. You're forcing them to trash pad campaigns, really, if they want to keep on top of your money. So you can definitely open up plenty hard-hitting news windows.
Yep. We got hedge funds for the same reason you have hedge funds in every corp deck.
Yep.
We got a singleton Psychographics. Again, I imagine, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that this is basically just an out. If they just decide to say screw it and just go super tag me.
Yeah, it's exactly that reason. Again, this was another card that was added to the deck just to give a slightly different win condition, which has come in very handy in the past. I played a DLR max deck and an event in Newcastle, and things were going horrendously badly. But I had a Psychographics and a Beal in hand, and I was just able to kind of wait until I got to the 13 credit and hit a 13-point Beal. So, yeah, it gives you outs where in other games, or where in that game you might not have had an out as well. You don't use it every time, or even a lot of the time, but for the times it is there, you had no other way of winning.
Yep, absolutely. We've also got 2 Scorched Earth, which is really funny because this is one of like the worst pieces of art from the core set, but it has one of the best alt arts.
Yeah, I'm still looking to try and get a hold of a couple of alt art Scorched Earth, so I'm still back with the old one as well.
You don't have a set of them?
No, not yet. I'll get one at some point.
I've got a couple sets. I'll see if we can hook something up.
That'd be sweet.
Because I was playing when they were out, and I got like 15 of them.
Oh, wow.
From going to various tournaments because they were doorbuster prizes.
Yeah. No, there's a few of these alt arts that I see floating around that people seem to have loads of, but because I started quite late in the game, have passed me by. So
that's like me with a noise playmat. If a noise playmat ever comes out, I'm gonna have to get it or follow somebody home who gets it because I gotta have that playmat. Like he's the only really I think he's the only core identity that doesn't have a playmat. Because I don't. Gabe's not on one, is he? No, never mind.
No,
anyway,
I don't think so.
We're getting off topic. We've got
the Scorched Earth in here, obviously for the kill. I've seen quite a few decks going around that are looking to kill with Traffic, Accident, and Scorch. This kind of the reason for 2 Scorch instead of a Traffic and a Scorch for the kill package is because there's this 24/7 option, but because there's the Psychic Fields in the deck as well. The original idea for this was that if they were to hit a Psychic Field even on click 1, and I had 24/7 and a single Scorch in my hand, then unless they had I've Had Worse or a Plascrete down,
right, they
can only draw to 3 cards, which is why I've stuck with 2 Scorch. And because you're firing Senseis more frequently, you're more likely to go and get that singleton Scorch that you might need as well.
I think that's fair. Yeah, and it gives you more outs for the kill, right?
Yeah.
Than having the Traffic Accident.
Definitely.
I can get behind that.
Breaking news off the table. If somebody is careless and has 3 cards left in hand, a breaking news off the table with a single Scorch will obviously kill them. If you draw Traffic, it won't.
Right. We got Sweeps, because Sweeps Week is a really good card, especially when people are playing Andy Temujin. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
It feels so good that she's come back into popularity, because I'm just like, play Sweeps Week, gain 9, install 2 pieces of ice. Feels great.
Yes. Yeah. Yep, it does. I don't know if there's ever a turn where I've installed 2 pieces of ice in this deck. Very, very infrequently. But yeah, I mean, it's really good, and it lets you bounce back up from being siphoned. Between Hedge Fund and Sweeps Weeks, it lets you often gain money very early in the game and immediately put the threat of hard hit news down, which can let you get out a few remotes and can speed things up for you.
Right. So we got Resistor. Costs nothing. It's pretty good.
Yep, it's excellent. There's Data Raven in the deck as well, so if they do decide that they're just going to have to go tag me and hope that I don't have the kill, then obviously Resistor gets better and doesn't cost any money. Yeah, it's great.
And it feeds you for Psychographics.
Yeah, definitely.
Toll Booth is your one piece of taxing ice, so whenever I see a yellow deck that only has a singleton Toll Booth, where are you usually putting this?
It's just kind of matchup dependent against Anarch R&D most of the time. Just to tax them out if they go medium running. Same thing for Archangel actually in the deck as well. It's really there just to really try and make R&D a little bit more beefy. Against Criminal, sometimes again on HQ, but a lot of Criminal also now running medium as well. So often in that case, it's still sitting on R&D. There's very few times that you're sitting holding a lot of agendas in hand, so you're not really looking to tax a runner too much through that. For your siphon protection, I would be looking more for Enigma and a Data Raven probably.
Right, that makes sense. Yeah, and then we do have one Archangel and one Enigma.
Yeah,
the Ice package is pretty straightforward. This is Butcher Shop, the Butcher Shop special.
Yeah, it's very light. It's mostly very cheap to res, apart from the Toll Booth, and it's all impactful. I have tried playing around recently with dropping a Data Raven and adding a Turnpike and things, but I'm not convinced that's a good switch for this deck yet.
Okay, so this is the deck. It's a really interesting one I'm very excited to take for a spin with you, Rob.
Yeah, it should be good fun.
Thank you very much for coming on the channel, man.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me.
Everybody, we're going to go over to the test run segment where you can watch me and Rob take this for a spin on competitive Jinteki. And until we see you all again, always be running.